Hello. How are we? Now I'm assuming I can be heard and seen because you know that's how these things work. Why is that so dark? No, let's not do that. Yeah, let's do that. Why not that? Let's do that. Yes, Mick, it's a sticker. You'll be getting some of these once I can figure out how to put things in envelopes and things. So you'll get some of these, and you'll get some other stuff as well for the thank yous. Anyway, yeah. Well, has it been a week already? It doesn't feel like a week. Has it been a week, or are we still last week? Whew. Well, okay. No, it's not last week because I've been watching the news, and wow, that's compelling viewing. Anyway, that's what we're here. Not what we're here for. That can stay in the background. The news will happen elsewhere. Right. So what have I been doing this past week? I honestly can't remember what I've been doing this past week. It has been that much of a blur. So I'm just going to show you a variety of things which I've done in the past sort of maybe last week. I don't know. Where should we start? Okay, yeah, I've been looking at Horus Heresy, and I've printed off some 3D printable miniatures and painted up some possible schemes that I might go with. I don't know whether I'll be going with Imperial Fists, but I like the recipe for this, and I might use it elsewhere. So he's quite cool. A little Iron Warrior as well. Resin within, paint without. Let's see, what else have we done? Painted a Canoness just to prove that I could. Paint relatively clean. So this is me painting relatively clean. I'm proud of me, frankly. I think this looks alright. Yeah, I'm not going to throw that one. I have slightly more respect for my plastic miniatures, even though the resin ones are more likely to break if I throw them. But hey, you know, I too like to live dangerously. Did this the other night when I should have been sleeping. Got a load of these things I need to repaint. Let's see. There we are. That's the original paint job. I think it's an improvement. This, not this. No, this. These were some of the first miniatures I painted after starting back in the hobby. So, yeah, they're due a do-over. I think they are. So. Started painting these guys up as Metallica because Metallica, really. There are other reasons, which we'll get to.
Really enjoy your Wednesday night stream.
Hey, Mick, thanks. I actually heard that. Confused the heck out of me. You know, I actually heard it because I turned monitoring on, so I can actually hear it when these things come through, but I wasn't expecting it. What else about? Oh, this lunchtime I painted this, which is kind of Vox terminal type thing, because I need an objective for a solo hammer game that I'm eventually going to play, I dare say. So that's an objective. I quite like that. That's up on my Instagram as well, as most of my things are. I'll pop that over there. What else have I painted? This is a 3D print. I think he's rather cool. About halfway through painting him. I think I might put him on a flying base. Because, you know, how many horses do you know with jets in their butt? I don't know many. So I reckon he's a flying horse. And he's going to be my... I need to swap that out for a lance, actually. He could be my jet bike shield captain. For an army I'm probably never going to play. I'm probably going to end up selling, but no. Anyway, he was fun to paint, or is fun to paint because I'm not finished painting him yet. Right, run out of single miniatures to show you. What else have I painted? Oh yeah. Whoop. Printed this guy out earlier. Had a bit of a crack at him. He's nowhere near done. I'm working on him at the moment. I kind of like the ultramarine in the crater there, being squished. As you can see, I haven't sealed the base or anything like that. That's Geek Gaming Scenics, one of their base ready ranges, Arid something or other. Arid, Scrubland, I don't know. Give me a sec, I'll find out. Oh, hey Joe. Wasteland Soil, it's called. So anyway, that's that. That's what goes on all my word bearers. That's that Wasteland Soil. I should probably stick a bit of my ink wash on there at some point. See, exactly the same Wasteland Soil, but that's had some of my brown liquid on it. Looks kind of cool. Oh, what else? I've just been painting little things really, tiny little fiddly little things, you know, that probably wouldn't show that well on camera. Let's give it a go. Whoop. Yeah, let's drop that because that needed to be dropped. Get back up there. You were doing so well. Right, come here. I have been painting. Come here. Where are you? Why do I put these things out of reach? There we are. Pair of legs. That's what I've been painting. It's an angry pair of legs. I might get a model of Wallace and put him on the top there, because this is clearly the wrong trousers. But oh yeah, this thing. This is not a standard thingy. This is a 3D print. It's actually a waist extender. So this pushes the knight's overall height up to the size of one of the big Dominus knights, which is kind of cool. So anyway, that's he's showing up slightly better on camera than I thought he would. Let's stick him there. Yeah, Wolf Corgi, this is a family broadcast. I won't respond to that. There we go. So that's him. I did a bit more work on him, so he's a bit more Princeps-like, but he's now definitely a Princeps. In fact, I can probably... where did I put it? Oh, there we go. That's what he looks like. Let's get him out of the way. And tonight I'm going to be doing something like that again, with this pair of legs. Yeah, so this thing goes on there. You glue that in place, but I'm not going to use that for that, because this dude is a Princeps, so he's a character. The regular knights are going to be shorter. Right, so there's a pair of legs. Somebody told me that the best way to do, because these are all House Raven, and House Raven are very, they've got hazard stripes and things on them. Somebody told me that one of the best ways to do hazard stripes was masking. So I put a load of masking on there. I'm not entirely sure how that's supposed to help, but it's been there a while, so if we start peeling it away, we'll see what's happened underneath. You never know. Oh, something's happened. So whoever suggested masking as a way of doing hazard stripes might have been onto something, because look what it's done. Isn't that cool? I must have done a good job painting that. Oh, look at that. That's incredible. Hey, I'll do that more often. hassle-free. Magic black goop. Oh. Yeah, this is going to take a while to peel off. Didn't think that through, did I? Oh, maybe I did. Right. It's coming away cleanly though, as you might expect for masking gunk. But this is my masking gunk thing. And that will sit there until the next time it's needed. Right, what else have we got? There's still a little bit of gunk in there. Right, well. Now, what else needs to happen to this guy? Let's move his legs out of the way for the time being, because something else needs to happen first. Alright, put my glasses on so I can see. Right, okay, yes. Right, I printed out some AdMech Cognis symbols, which you probably can't see, because there were no symbols on the front of these knights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to super glue that into place and take it from there. Where's my super glue? I might actually get my new super glue. Where's my new super glue? Super glue. Right, super glue. Put that aside. There we go. Job's a good one. Now, I've actually taken the rails and stuff off this thing, because putting the regular masking tape on to do these stripes was an absolute pain with rails everywhere. So the rails are in there. I will glue them on at some point, probably not tonight. But anyway, let's make a start, shall we? Let's get my lovely, messy kind of stale smelling actually. Wet palette out, cover up the stick out, pop that there for a second, and we're going to need, I'm not going to use the airbrush for this. I use the airbrush for an awful lot. Kieran, yeah, you may well have done. Well, you can see how well it worked. Just that black goop onto. Ooh, a little bit more there. Look at that. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So this goop, magic. Right, corn red is one of the colours we'll need, and Corvus black and Abaddon black and possibly Mephiston red and a paintbrush. What have we got here? Number 4, that'll do. We'll use a brand new number 4 for this. Virgin paintbrush. Don't dip that in your coffee. That would be a bad plan, although it does need dipping in something. There we are. No, that's done nothing. Oh, there we are. There we are. It's softened up. Lovely. It's soft. Right. Abaddon black, put that aside. Mephiston red, put that aside. Corn red and Corvus black's what we need for starters. No, it's not an eBay rescue. These are courtesy of Immortan Joe. I say courtesy, I paid for them. I bought them off Immortan Joe. And the starting out paint jobs were pretty good actually. It seemed a shame to paint over them, however, I'm merciless like that. Right. So, having consulted the Book of Armaments, or the Imperial Light Codex, I know vaguely what I'm doing with the colour. Oh god, there's look, more of the black stuff everywhere. I blame Kieran, suggesting that I use this stuff. It's just everywhere. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It would have been alright actually, but I put this stuff on like early this morning, and over the course of the day, under its own weight, it sort of dripped down into the cavities and all the crooks and nannies. And now it's defying me. Get out. Out. Out, or I'll ignore you. Oh, who suggested having a pair of tweezers up here? Nobody. That's why I haven't. That's right. Should I do have a pair of tweezers? I have several pairs of tweezers somewhere. Don't know where. Oh, it's got a scoop on the other end. Let's use that. Right. Anyway, we'll get a little bit of water out of the thing, and we'll put a bit of paint on that, and we will thin our paints. Because that's what Duncan Rhodes says, and he must be obeyed in all things. I was expecting more coverage out of this stuff, you know. Maybe it needs a shake. If I have to get the airbrush out, I should be really annoyed. I might have to though. If what I'm painting goes out of shot at any point, get my attention. Tip me, that'll work. It makes a noise then, and I'll look up and go, ah, it's out of frame. Kidding. Or am I? Yeah, that's why I don't use the Google thing anymore to turn the compressor on and off. Now we have disagreements about which podcast she wants me to listen to. She's invariably not what I've asked to listen to. There's a podcast I listen to called Oh God, What Now? 12! Good heavens! That is a personal best. Welcome to people who don't normally watch. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, I usually listen to a podcast called Oh God, What Now? Which Google routinely translates to Old Gods of Appalachia. I have no idea what the Old Gods of Appalachia podcast is, but that's what it tries to play me. What podcast would I recommend? I mostly listen to political ones, so we won't go there at the moment. I tend not to listen to hobby-related ones because I've not found any I agree with yet. Either I don't agree with them or they don't deliver it in a style that I find particularly appealing. So this is Corn Red, which I am growing to love because you get a good amount of coverage on this. So this is the base colour for my word bearers as well, which is kind of odd seeing as there's a literal word bearers red, but I don't use that. Joe, are you saying you know what Old Gods of Appalachia is? Is that what it is? In which case I might start listening to it because that sounds cool. So yeah, this is the base coat on, well, it's not the base coat actually, I use Rhinox hide as the base coat for my word bearers and my blood ravens actually. But then the second coat is Corn Red. As I was saying, it was a bit of a weird thing because there's literally a word bearers red in the range. Don't know whether it's a base coat or a layer paint at this particular moment in time, but it's one of them. There's a bit more of that masking stuff there as well. It gets everywhere. Whose silly idea was this? So I'm going on quite thick with this, I'm not bothering to dilute really. I'll give it another coat of slightly diluted just to fill in the, because it's a little bit scrappy in places, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be weathering the heck out of this in a bit. And that will cover up a multitude of sins. Should have thought this isn't particularly interesting to watch, but yeah, whatever, you're here now. Oops. Yeah, we'll go over that in a sec. The only problem I have with Chaos Red is it doesn't taste particularly nice. Chaos Red, Corn Red, you know what I meant. This stuff. It's got a real chemically aftertaste. They do need to work on their recipes, I think. Ooh. So what else is going on with me? Not a great deal. I managed to sprain my ankle, which is irritating. Woke up one morning, having gone to bed with a perfectly fine ankle, and woke up with a sprained one. So I don't know what happened there, whether I was jogging in my sleep or what. But my ankle has about doubled in size. And it's really quite painful to walk around on. I shouldn't walk around on it really. I should be resting it. It should be covered up and bound and elevated ideally, and with an ice pack on it. But some of us don't have the luxury of being able to do that. And unfortunately, it's just the way it goes. So stomping up and down stairs with a sprained ankle is a lot of fun. So that's my life lately. Sleepwalking, yeah, maybe. Right, any more blue anywhere? Anyone see any more blue? Big lump of blue. How could I miss the big lump of blue? So blue on the back, yeah, blue on the back of the shield as well. Right, okay, we'll do that as well. There's a particular challenge to painting a fully assembled knight. I hadn't fully appreciated when I took on the project. So I do have another knight that I assembled myself and then converted to Nurgle because, well, in the early days when I restarted the hobby, I didn't realise there were, ouch my foot, there were actual Chaos Knights models, or a model for an actual Chaos Knight. I thought people got hold of the loyalist ones and converted them. So I did that. I got a Canis Rex and converted it to Nurgle, which was a lot of fun. But I did have to paint that in subsections, which I suppose is what I'm doing here, because he's not attached to his legs in any meaningful way. Right. Okay, so he's got a nice solid coat of red there, and he's already looking like an Admech Questoris. Pop that aside for a second and grab his legs, whoever misses. Right, is it red on the inside or black on the outside? It's red on the outside, isn't it? Right, okay, so oh, I've got the red out now, so I might as well go for it. What is blue will become red. I hope so, Kev. It's just very uncomfortable at the moment. And the more I walk in it, which of course I do have to do, the longer it's going to take to heal. And the longer it takes to heal, the longer I'm going to be in pain. Huh. Bear with me one moment, ladies and gents. There'll be a brief interlude whilst I go and check on something. 1 second. Yeah, I'll be back in a moment. Right, sorry for that, folks. I've got into the habit of investigating when I smell burning, but I think it's coming from outside. I think someone's having a bonfire or something. Solar hammer mic. My table downstairs is set up for solo hammer, but whenever I think about actually pulling the trigger on it, I find other things to do. So on that one, I don't know. It'll happen one day. Problem I have with solo hammer is I don't really know the rules that well, so it's not that great with it just being me. I don't have anyone to bounce off and remind me what phase it is and silly things like that. So that's an extra level of anxiety surrounding solo hammer. I suppose the thing to do is just to pull the trigger on it, really, isn't it? There's a lot going on just out of frame. I really need to remember where the camera is. A platonic poke, eh? Well, it would have to be. Anything more than a platonic poke could bring a government down, possibly. I'm not going to stray into politics, but I will say the way the government, the way the press is focusing on that one final thing, which has caused all the consternation and set things in motion. It's they kind of forget about all the other egregious stuff he's done. A straw that broke the camel's back, but the camel was pretty weighed down before. Yeah, Mick, we're going to have to get a game in at some point. Whether it's here or Warhammer World or something, I'm going to have to get a game in. Maybe we could have a night fight. So I've not seen the Chaos Knight Codex yet, but apparently it's a little bit good. I'll be getting a copy at some point, I'm sure, and I'll probably end up getting some Chaos Knights and painting them anything but red. Probably not Nurgle flavoured either. I'll find something to do. Oh, no, I had settled on a scheme for my Chaos Knights. And House Raven should give it away. Oh, 17th, yeah. I will give that some thought, mate. I don't know what I'm doing on the 17th now, having said that I might be able to drop by. Something might have come up, but we'll see. I thought that was an AOS day. Because it's an AOS table you've got, I think. Not that you can't play 40k on an AOS table. The red toes on knights are very important. It enables them to hide in cherry trees. Not a lot of people know that. It makes them very, very good at it. Very good at hiding in cherry trees, indeed. You'll notice I've applied some texture to this base. I'll be painting it up like my other base with oxide colour and all sorts of other stuff if I get time. The basing medium is AK Muddy Ground for the bits that look like muddy ground. Funny that. And it's Grim Dark City Rubble or something from Geek Gaming Scenics for the black there, and I think oh god, what's it called? I didn't actually paint the base under that, but I suspect it was probably a Grelin Earth. If that's the yeah, that's the cracker one. Yeah, I suspect it was a Grelin Earth one on there. Joe can confirm or deny. Keep spotting bits of blue that I hadn't noticed before. Too much blue! Too much blue! There's another bit there. Too much. Right, okay. I think it's all red now. I think it's all red. I will close up the red. Black again, which is anyone who has ever used this before will know is not black. It is grey at best. Right, where to start? Okay, there's where I'll start. Right, so putting this on fairly thickly straight out of the pot, and I'm getting a lot more coverage. Funny that. After I've done all this, I'll have to go around all the gold trim and paint it silver, and then we can start with the weathering. So I've got 4 knights in total now. Well, 5 if you include the traitor. 4 loyalists and a load of armigers. And what I'm thinking of doing is I'll be painting 3 knights. That's 2 Questoris and 1 Dominus as House Raven. And I'll be painting my 3rd knight, 4th knight, yeah, 4th knight, as some manner of Freeblade, I suspect. Let's get a bit more colour going on around here. Let's get some. Black out the cables, shall we? Once I'm done with this, I shall be giving it a good douse in my wash mix, which will change the tone of the iron, the ironwork, the metalwork, the steelwork. Right, that appears to be industrial rubber as well. There we go. Get right in there. You'll notice I'm not particularly bothered with edge highlighting or anything fancy like that. I'm just laying on base coats at the moment, but even when I am sort of at that sort of stage, I don't tend to bother with edge highlighting and such like that. Just interested in a basic scheme that's going to look good at a distance. Involves lots of fun weathering, because that's my jam. And with minimum fuss. Right. Oh, right. Where are we? I think we'll make use of that, and we will make use of which is my usual. If I don't do that at least once in a live stream, I don't feel I've given you value for money. So there we are. I knocked my camera. Right, where was I going? Yeah. Vallejo, metal colour, duraluminum. One of the best metals I've come across. As a base coat anyway. I'll introduce you to what might be a new product. Well, it isn't a new product, but I don't think I've shown it on the channel before. Maybe I have, I don't know. I've slept since. Once I get to finishing this off, I'll introduce you to a new product. What I think is a new product anyway. Which just elevates metallics to the next level if you do it right. And I'm slowly, after much practicing, getting to the point where I'm almost doing it right. Now this is unusual for me because I'm starting with a miniature that was already table ready. So if I somehow manage to end in a situation where it's not table ready, I shall hang my head in shame. But you know, we'll give it a good British go. I don't know whether I'll have time to apply decals and things, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that works. The basilicanum grey over metallic works. But even with that game, this product, which I will show you, will raise it to the next level for very little effort. You can't actually see what I'm doing. Can't see what I'm doing, but you know what I'm doing, which is applying duraluminum paint over the gold. I'm trying to be kind of neat, but I'm not too worried because if I go onto the red or the black here and there, it's going to look like chipping. And once the weathering is on there, it's really going to look like chipping, so I'm not particularly fussed. So I'm trying to do this as quickly as I can, so I get a sense of whether I'm going to be able to do this in time. You see, there we are. I've just gone over a little bit, but that looks like a chip, so we're fine with that. Who's posting in my Discord? Who's posting in my Discord? Mick, find out who's posting in my Discord. I can't look at the minute. Is it someone I need to welcome as a member? If it is, welcome as a member. I will. I'll have a look now. Let's have a look. I don't think it is a member. General hobby chat. Oh, no, it's Mick. Mick proving that I had 12 concurrent viewers. Right. Yeah, so this stuff I'm using now, the Duraluminium Viejo Metal Air, or Air Metal, or whatever it's called, is so good. Some brilliant coverage on it. Right, I'm going to have to sort that out. I'm not going to put up with that. That's too much. Right. You get brilliant coverage on it, and it's nice and liquid. Making matters worse. Of course I make his matters worse. Why would I make matters better? I'm me. Right, here we are. Yeah, you'd never know. Unless you filmed it and 12 people saw it, then they'd know. Yeah, so it's designed to go through an airbrush. So it's good and liquid, but you just get crazy amounts of coverage with it. And it's a really nice, highly pigmented colour. If you were to buy one silver grey kind of colour, one metallic silver grey, I would recommend this be it. So I saw these new League of Votan half guard things. I think I might end up, once all the hypers died down and League of Votan aren't flavour of the month and 40k isn't an endless stream of squat fights, I may end up getting a League of Votan army, because they are starting to look very, very nice, and they really are leaning into that They are leaning suspiciously hard into that Men of Iron kind of aesthetic that they used for one of the characters out of Blackstone Fortress, which I hope is telling. I do hope that is telling, and that they are going to release more Men of Iron, because I think that would be an interesting faction. Or even if they tack Men of Iron onto League of Votan, I think that would be interesting from a lore perspective. Because it'd be like, you know, that massive Dark Age of technology fight you had? Yeah, they're back. And it'd be funny watching the AdMech as well, because they'll be all like, oh, but it's tech heresy. Oh, but it's so interesting and I want it, but it's tech heresy. And meh. Okay, we'll have it, but we won't tell anyone. Because that sounds like the sort of thing Belsario's Call would do. He's not averse to a bit of tech heresy, that Belsario's Call. Not entirely sure he goes as far as AI, but yeah, wouldn't put it past him. Right, okay, that's the legs done. Right, there shouldn't actually be much up here that needs extra attention. It's just the rims of the shoulder pads, really, and then we can start on the weathering. Almost. I've just seen what else I need to do, and that's make use of the Abaddon Black. I should, thinking about it, I should have got my hairbrush and introduced that to the party, because as much as I do love my wash mix, it takes an awfully long time to dry, and seeing as I'm going to be putting it everywhere, looks like a chip to me. Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's a chip, that's fine. Seeing as I'm going to be putting it everywhere, it could slow things down if I'm waiting for it to dry. And a hairdryer is a fantastic cheat. You just got to make sure, if you're using a hairdryer to dry inks and washes and things, that you are alert to coffee staining, which is where the ink starts to dry in a pool. It's easy enough to counter. You just need to get a brush there and soak up the excess. But it's a lot harder to do if things are drying quickly. Alright, okay, I won't worry too much about that, because I'm going to go over the edges and get Abaddon Black anyway for that on the black. But I do question why this is happening, because there's not many miniatures in the range that are bigger than a knight, and yet I'm still struggling to get the detail crisp and clean. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. Downside of this paint, again, like the corn red, it's not very tasty. They ought to get someone like what's his name, Heston, what's his face, the molecular chef in to sort out their paint flavours. Really, I mean this is Vallejo, you know, but if it was a Games Workshop paint, I expect better flavour, and that's the way you do it. You get Heston Blumen something or other. Yeah. Get him to come in, work up some nice molecular flavours. So you got some nice, I don't know, corn red, maybe taste of lobster, thermidor or something like that. You know, people are going to eat this stuff, so you might as well make it taste nice. I've come to the conclusion that if you're of a certain age and you're a painter, you either eat paint or you're a liar. Back in the 90s, it was in 80s and 90s. It was an important part of your sustenance. Was the vitamins and minerals you got from your daily dose of paint consumption. Salisbury? Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? That's a Roald Dahl reference, is it? Snosbury definitely sounds like a Roald Dahl word. BFG? No, BFG was Snoscumbers, wasn't it? Not Snosberries. Okie dokie, Wolf. Catch you later, mate. Have fun out there. Nearly there, and then we can start with the weathering. Right, any blue, any gold? Well, there's a little bit of gold on the eagles, but I think I'll leave that. Right. Oh. Ouch. I'm just seeing a little bit of gold on the edge of that plate there, so I'll do that. Any plate edges, there we are. Knew there'd be something. Knew there'd be something. I'd have missed something. And left loads of plate edges here. Not that it would be picked up by someone casually looking at the miniature particularly, but you know, I'd know. Okay, and there's a little bit back there. There we are. Right. Okay. Now the oh! I've just noticed something. I'll remedy it before anyone else notices it. Not to draw attention to that in any way, shape or form, so I'll just surreptitiously, whilst nobody's looking, paint that, and no one will know. Good job I didn't do that on camera. Right. Okay. Well, I made real good use of this, didn't I? Aberdeen black. Before I get started, get the Aberdeen black done. Clean off the brush. Shake up the paint. And then with the Aberdeen black around the edges. See what I'm doing there? No, you can't. Right. There we go. Just around the edges. A little bit of water. And whilst it's still wet, kind of blend it in a bit. Pushing out towards the edges. And that will blend that in nicely. Again, really quickly. A bit of black around the edges, just to crisp up the edges. A bit of water, pull the paint in, and draw it out again. So you will end up with a subtle gradient on there. So subtle it probably won't show up on camera, but it's there. Before I get stuck into the next bit, I'm just going to clean up around the edges of the red as well, because there's a little bit where I've gone over just around the edge there. I'm saying this is just corn red. Let's get some neat corn red, go around the edges. And there we go. Problem solved. Go over that as well. I don't know where that came from, but yeah. Right, weathering. Did I use the Mephiston red? I did not. I will do that now. But I need to get the lid back on my red palette because I'm not going to use it as much as I thought I was going to use it. Look at that, Old Faithful. Mephiston red, Dry brush. And our red panels in the middle. Just buff on a highlight, which will change the tone slightly. All you're really doing is trying to get a sense of a little bit of subtle light going on there, which you're then going to cover up with the weathering. So I do it because I like to know I've done it. There we are. There we are. Happy days. Let's give that a bit of a wash. Oh, there we are. Oh. Well, that lasted well, didn't it? There's a nice pink corner on my white sheet now. Never mind. Okay, I completely lost what. There we are. If you don't know what this is by now, you haven't been paying attention. It is Agrax Earthshade and Seraphim Sepia with a little bit of Limium Medium. Something I affectionately like to call a brown liquid, because, well, brown liquid or brown sauce, because, well, it's a brown liquid. It's really not that surprising. It's not that surprising why I call these things the things I call them. Right, okay, so I think most of our metallics are now dry, and we just... all this stuff just goes all over everything. Nice thin coat over everything, and it just brings everything together. Gives you that nice grimy finish. I say finish, I'm nowhere near finished. This is a stage well before finishing. But it ties everything together. I like it because you don't have to be too careful with it. Don't have to be too careful with it at all, and it just creates a nice effect. Ties everything together. Sinks into all the crooks and nannies. And it's a more interesting colour than normal oil, which is really why I do it. And this will work on absolutely... oh, look at that. Look what I forgot. Look at the bit I missed. No one will know. Why did nobody point me out Point that out to me when I did it, or rather didn't do it, because it was something I didn't do, not did do. That's on you lot. That's not my fault, that's you lot. Should have told me. Let's get a bit more water in there actually. Water it down a bit more. If you can, when you're applying this stuff, do any of you guys actually use this stuff? Any of you regulars that have watched me use it week in, week out, have you actually made up your own stuff and used it yourself? Maybe the people watching the stream haven't, but if you're watching afterwards and you've used it and you have your own experience of it, stick it in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're getting on with it, if you are, or if you're not trying it, why you're not, and what you're using instead. Because, you know, I'm not averse to learning. If you use something better, I want to know about it. Dirties everything down, and that is the start of grimdarking. Let's get that a bit more on there. Whew. A bit warm, getting a bit warm. Oh. Right, and now we begin the process of waiting for this to dry. Now this stuff, if I'd put transfers on here, which I could have done, yeah, it would just go straight over the transfers and you'll end up blending them in like that. See what I mean? It just ties everything together. Brilliant stuff. Knocking everything flying. There we go. Let's put that light back where it belongs. Right, okay. Let's give that a bit of a dab around there just to make sure it's drying properly. I think I need a bit more of that because I need to tie the base together as well. Yeah, so this is Agrax Earth, Geek Gaming Scenics, Base Ready, Grimdark Rubble, and that AK Muddy Ground I showed you earlier. So we just wait for that to dry as well, because then we're going to dry brush it first with metal. Yeah, two different types of metal in fact. And then we're going to hit it up with some turquoise, and some orange and all that good stuff, and it's going to look amazing. If I've got time, because I've got about half an hour left. I might go a little bit over tonight. We'll see how we get on. Yeah. So that little bit of medium in the wash means once it starts to dry a little bit, you can actually get a little bit of streaking going on there. Just pull, once it starts to dry, just pull it down with a dryish brush, and you get kind of a streaking effect. Poor man's streaking grime. Oh, how does that look assembled? Let's have a look. Put that on top of there. Yeah. Yeah, he's getting there. Cool. Oh, right. The waiting game begins because this stuff does take a little while to dry. So, what can we do? We can fan it. Yeah, let's fan it. That's doing nothing. Anyone know any good songs? Play I Spy maybe? That'll date you if you recognise that. Cold tea. Yeah, I'm not sponsored by cold tea either, so a bit like Sir Halpole in that respect. Not sponsored by cold tea yet. Right, you dry yet? No, you're not dry yet. No. Oh. Okay. We're gonna press on. We're gonna press on. Okay. All right. I have used my Chaos Knights. Oh, cool. Yeah. Do they play okay? I mean, they're all psychers and weird stuff like that. It's bonkers to me. Alright, I'm fiddling with a brush at the moment, trying to get it to where... Oh, I'm just going to throw it away. It doesn't work. Let's use that instead. That'll do. Get a bit of a bite. Now this is Typhus Corrosion. Now I'm not using this to represent corrosion, although it can be used to represent corrosion. What this does is it adds a little bit of texture and grime, which is occasionally useful to have. So just stick it in the recesses around the edges, where dust and grime and things would collect. Like there. There's a good candidate. And you got a little bit of ingress onto the yellow there. That doesn't matter. I just did all that out of camera when I said like there. That's a good candidate. So I'll do another bit. So just the recess between the canopy and the steel bit, because you get grime and all sorts collecting there. And it just puts a little bit of extra texture there and colour. Where else can we put this? Yeah, there we are. I'll stick it a bit more there as well. Don't want to go too overboard with this stuff, because I don't want it to end up looking like a Nurgle thing, which is always a danger. but it's nice to have the sense that what you're painting has a bit of a story to it. And these aren't God machines, really. But I like to have a sense that it's seen a bit of action, and maybe the sacristans haven't managed to upkeep it as well as they otherwise might want to, because it's been in the field a while. Although the sacristans will relocate entire forge shrines to maintain these things, because they're a bit bonkers like that. Right, just around the top of these smokestacks as well, because we're going to go over this with oil and grease and grime effect in a minute, and it will soak into the typhus corrosion and give you a nice, well, oil and grease and grime, engine grime type finish. Well, get in there with your fingers. Don't be afraid to use your fingers in this game. Because nothing is going to give you a natural feel, natural look, quite like using a finger to get paint exactly where you want it. I'm doing all this stuff just off camera. You'd think I would have learnt by now. Right. Right. So doing it this way, you'll get the texture in the recesses, and you'll partially brush it away from the raised areas, which is kind of what you want, because the grime wouldn't necessarily build on the upper extremities. It would only really be where it's harder to rub off. So yeah, I just dumped a little bit of shading on there as well. Typhus corrosion around the edge of it. Just see what it's done. It's just sort of, yeah, grime. Right. Now sometimes what's fun to do with these sorts of things, where you've got defined panels and things, is have a panel here and there to be new, a replacement panel, but a lot of these panels are really quite sort of big, so I don't think I'd want to leave a panel ungrimy to get that sense of a new replaced panel. Add another layer of storage to the thing. So we'll just press on. How was I going to go with that? Yeah, I think we'll grab the. Oh, ouch! That's my foot again. That's part of what I want. Where's the other thing? That's not the thing that I wanted. That's the thing that I wanted. Right. I've got a new product. This isn't the new product I was going to talk to you about, but it's another new product that I've got, which is an engine grime effect, which produces engine grime effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that over there, get a new fresh little thing, and I'm going to get a little bit of white spirit. I need some new white spirit. There we are. Running out of white spirit. engine grime effect. So I've given this a quick shake, and this just behaves like an oil wash because it's an oil wash. I mean, if you want something to behave like an oil wash, getting an oil wash is a pretty good idea. I just have fears of knocking that over. Right. So I don't know whether you can see, but it's sort of interacting with the typhus corrosion that I put around the edges to create that sort of crusty, grimy build-up that you'd find on old engines that have been left out in the elements and mixture of oil and grit and other gunk that just sort of collects on them. Yeah, and if you want to get into the weathering game, yellow is your friend. Yellow weathers up really well. I won't forget about that. I will need to... Actually, I will forget about that. I will totally forget about that. And whoever faces these in battle will remember that I've forgotten about that. I'll be able to point to that and go, "Ha! You forgot about that." And I will go, "Yeah, I forgot about that." So yeah, that's sort of soaking into the typhus corrosion there. Just kind of what we want. Get the white spirit in there. And let the oil wash be an oil wash. Where do I find all the new products? Element Games, mate. Element Games. I have a habit of going over to the AK section or the MIG section, because those are MIG products that I've got, and thinking, what's new? What am I trying to do? What paints, what projects have I got on the go? And what would be cool to use? And I thought, well, I'm going to be getting these. Well, I actually had the knights at that point, so I thought, I've got these big new knights. What are they? They're massive water engines. So what do I need? Maybe some sort of grimy engine mix. So I picked up engine grime. And lo and behold, as if by magic, the engines acquired stains. The stains became a warning. Oil washes and enamel washes are really useful in the weathering game. Well, they're pretty useful in the miniature painting game in general. It's just, it tends to be the people who go heavy into weathering and heavy into grimdark that tend to use them, I think, in my experience anyway. Right, there we go. Let's try and soak a little bit around that. There we are. I think you need to start. Yeah, you do need to start trying new things, Mick. It's the only way you learn. It's the only way you learn, mate. Fail faster, as they say. Not every product you get is going to work out well, but everything is a lesson, and whatever sometimes you'll find something that doesn't work well for what you wanted it to work for. Let's get some engine grime in there, because I do like my joints to be greasy. Yeah, sometimes something you pick out for one project isn't going to work particularly well for that project, but then you'll think, oh, this will work well for something else, and then on it goes. Right. Okay. I printed out these things as well, which are the night banners. So at some point I'll glue that up there, and they will have banners between their legs like they're supposed to, which would be cool. Right, okay. Lid back on that. Other product is oil and grease, which you go anywhere that you would likely see oil and grease. So again, around the exhaust. Brush that off the top. And suddenly that starts looking very cool. Let's get some oil and grease in there. Let's pick out the detail. There we are. Lovely. Right. Holy unguent everywhere. Yeah, let's put some engine grease on the actual engine, eh? Again, get your finger in there, because yeah, lovely. Lens cloth. Same principle as if you were using streaking grime. Just take it off the raised areas so it settles into the recesses. Right. And keep that around, because the next product I'm going to get is what I wanted to show you. And as soon as I get it out, you're going to go, Moog, you've already showed us that. We've seen that before. And then I'm going to get a hate mail, and so I'm going to go downhill from there. No, not that. Don't need that. Need. It's one of them. Is it that one? Yes, it's that one. Yay! Another AK product. In fact, I'll get them all out because I've got 3 of these. I use them for different things. Nope, can't find the other one. But I have a third one. It's got a little sticker on it that says silver, and I use that for extreme highlights. This one has a little sticker on it that says steel. Guess what I'm using that for, ladies and gents? Well, go on, guess. You're not guessing. Why aren't you guessing? I demand you guess. Guess! Damn it! Oh. There it is. There it is. Look, look, look. It sells silver. I found it. Look, silver. Woo! Right, okay. So that's a little bit on there. You see how that is nice and grimy and blur. I'm going to use a bit. No, that's probably not the one to use. Honestly, yeah. Maybe that one. No, not that one. That one. Highlights? No, not highlights. Steel, Mick. Steel. It's in the name. Look, steel. Oh, highlights. Right. I'm just going to use this brush. These are nice disposable brushes. So I'm going to use this brush and then dispose of it. Right, okay. What we're going to do now is just go around the edge and areas that would see some rubbing. And just flick it across. And what that will do is it will just bring that steely luster back to it. You get some nice scratchy type effects on there. Literally just here and there you want this stuff, just to give it a sense of where and it just brings it back to that sort of former steel. I mean, you can get little chips and stuff going on as well. In fact, look at this. Watch this, watch this. On that copper there that I've forgotten about. What copper that I forgot about? So you're almost dry brushing with this stuff, but not quite. This stuff is, I think it's got a wax base to it, so if you want to thin it, you've kind of got to use white spirit or something, so it may put some people off, but I urge people to get some white spirit and try out some of these oil-based products, because you won't regret it. This is a nice sort of finish to otherwise grimdark miniatures, because this stuff is legitimately metal, so it legitimately catches the light like metal does. So if you go sparing on it on a very dark miniature and just on the very edges of the metal, it's going to create a lot of light and interest without taking away from the dark feel of the miniature. And you end up with a kind of a dirty steel effect, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to get a slightly bigger brush for the legs. In fact, I'm just going to do the underside. Just very lightly go, create some light and interest there as well. You end up with a very realistic metal type effect, which is cool. I mean, if you're applying literal metal to your miniatures, there's no reason on God's green earth why you wouldn't end up with a realistic metal effect. Going to catch the edge of the, and this works really well on weapons as well, just catching the edge where it's been polished and it looks like it's been sharpened. That's kind of a subtle effect. Right, so looks a lot less subtle in person anyway, put it that way. But yeah, if you edge highlight a blade or something like that, it looks like it's tarnished, but it's been sharpened. And I say I don't edge highlight, this is literally what I'm doing, edge highlighting. But I'm doing it in a sort of haphazard kind of way. You might have to take my word for this, but it really does look like tarnished metal with the wash underneath. It's crazy realistic. Crazy realistic in person. I will try and take some proper photos of it because my webcam doesn't really do it justice. But as I was saying, if there's one metal product, one metallic paint product you get, I would suggest this. If there's two, I would suggest getting this as well, which is AK True Metal. Right, okay, now we were going to use some of this to do the base, weren't we? Yeah, we were. Right. Because the story for these guys is that after the fall of their home planet, which I can't remember the name of, begins with a K, there were an awful lot of House Raven left scattered around on places like Metallica and and elsewhere in the galaxy from where they've been deployed, because House Raven's a big house, a really big house. So it stood to reason, to me at least, that if a sizable portion of House Raven had been deployed on Metallica, helping the Metallica Forge world fight off, was it Nurgle? Yeah, I think it was Nurgle. Whoever came visiting from the Chaos thing in Carcharodon or wherever, the recent, one of the recent books. Caradon, that's it. The recent scenario, but whoever came calling there, I think they went to Metallica. It was certainly Metallica Forge World that was involved in the fighting. Anyway, that they'd probably want to adopt the remnants of the House Raven that were left stranded. Colossi, that was the name of the town, the planet, the home world for the Ravens. House Raven, Colossi, and Be'lakor. No spoilers. Pulled a massive plot flange and pulled the entire House Raven world into the Eye of Terror, because you know he can do that kind of thing because reasons. Did I get turned around there? I did kind of get turned around. I got stuck in a ramble. Anyway, yeah. Oh, damn it. Cover in paint. Oh, well, that's never coming off. Oh well. Yeah. Yeah, Be'lakor, Eye of Terror, Homeworld Ravens sucked in there. And that's where House Corax comes from. House Corax are fallen ravens. He did indeed do a Malcador, yes. What's a Malcador? Somebody told me what a Malcador is. I don't know what it is. But he did one, yes. Yeah, he did do a Malcador, probably. Right, okay, a dirty down rust solution. And this is the first layer of oxides. So I've decided that these rocks are going to be lumps of literal iron, crystallized iron. Let's get a bit more going on there as well. Right. Let's get a bit of water going on as well. Get some water in there. Because if you wet something down and stick this rust on top of it, you get a different effect. There we are. Okay. That's enough of that. It's moss, don't need that. What I'm shaking up here is the verdigris version from Dirty Down. Now I've had mixed results with this. It's not as good as the rust, I don't think. I mean, it's all right, but not as good as the rust. Works in the same way though. Chuck a bit of water down. And that's why I started putting that copper colour down, because verdigris is a copper oxide. Anyway, yeah, why am I doing ores? I was talking about Metallica. Metallica has an uninhabited or uninhabitable surface which is covered in a crust of metal. Now, there are a number of ways to interpret that. I've interpreted that as an absolute load of ores and oxides and all kinds of other fun stuff like that. So you get kind of a multi-hued effect going on. So I'm going to do, we're done with that. Where is my, not there. Oh, let's use that. Why not? No. Let's use that, because that's what we've used before. Let's not use that though, because we have better stuff than that. Dry rust, we're going to need some of that. Riser rust, we need some of that as well. Rust, you need some of that. Verdigris. There's another one, which is kind of a blue version of that, which of course I can't find. Yeah, don't know where that's gone. Never mind, we will sub in with Old Faithful. No, I got oxide. Right, verdigris. Squirt. Get some water in there. Apparently there's some red worked in there as well. Oh well, never mind. I'm not really caring where this goes particularly. It's just to create a different, some different shades of the oxide. I'm trying to get it mostly on or near the verdigris, because it's that metal oxide. That's airbrush cleaner, that's no good to me. Stick a bit of that in there, why not? Right, it's just seat of the pants at the moment. I'm just trying to work things out, see what works, what doesn't. That was airbrush flow improver that I put there. So this is just a bit of where'd I put it? Well, green stuff rust, orange rust. So I'm wetting it down a bit so it's a little bit more of a wash. And again, spotting it around. You don't want to cover up all of the metal that you've dry brushed on there, but don't be too shy either. You're looking at getting interesting colour on there, mainly. Dry rust on there as well. Get as much of this off as I can because this stuff is really, well, it is. Just dry brush that over bits of it. This is probably, I'm jumping the gun here a lot because this is still wet, most of it. Let's tie the bottom of the Titan into the environment. I'm hitting up with a little bit of rust. Not rust, but rusty dust. So that just sort of ties the Titan into its environment, which is something you always kind of want to do. Let's get a bit of the verdigris dust on there as well. To give a sense that the model's actually in the environment, so there'll be traces of dust and all kinds of other stuff on this thing's legs, and maybe even a bit higher, but the idea is to give it a sense that the base is an environment and the Titan is stomping around in that environment. So end up with something like that, which is kind of similar to that. I'm happy with that. I mean, the only thing this one hasn't got that this one has is a little bit of, and I can't put it on yet because it's still wet. Yeah, just the dusting of that, which is AK Middle East soil, which is a dry pigment. I'll show you. So that's very fine powder. I've got a fixer for that, which will help it stick to the model, but I don't use it because I find, yeah, let's demo it. Let's demo it. I'll show you on the bottom. Show you on the bottom of this guy, because why not? You can always paint over this, don't care. Right, let's find a nice brush. It's on its way out. That's not on its way out enough. It is now. Okay, cool. Right, a little bit of pigment on the end of the brush. And you sort of try and get it into the crevices. Brush it off. And again, it's going to give that sense that the miniature is in the environment. Which, I mean, it doesn't really matter whether you're into your grimdark themes or not, really. Even if I was painting clean, I'd want to, at least around the bottom of the miniature, I'd want to give a little bit of light weathering to tie it into the base. A little bit of dust or something around. To give the feel that the mini is actually in the environment. There we go. Now, like I say, you can get a fixer to actually help this stick to the miniature, but what it will do is it will take that very sort of matte finish off it and make it a bit more like a paint, which may not be what you want. Oh dear. I didn't want that to happen. Oh well. I can remedy it. Never mind. Yeah, I like to keep hold of that matte thing because it's that level of can't words at the moment. It looks better. It's a little change in texture, I suppose. Because with Games Workshop paints and things, there could be a little sort of a satin finish to them, and that little hit of matte, it just looks like dust, yeah, which is exactly what it's supposed to look like. Whew, okay, I think, looking at the time, I think I'm about done. Let's have a look, see how far we've come. I know I didn't get it completely done, but honestly there's not much left to do. I've got to stick the railings back on him, super glue them back in place, and the rungs on the ladder and the handle there. Get some decals on there. Yeah, decals, and put something there maybe, I don't know. But there's my relic. I mean, dude. He looks alright, doesn't he? Certainly table ready. Definitely got to get a decal on there. But yeah, cool. Ooh, something going on in there I didn't notice. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Anyway, yeah, that's cool. That's done. And I'm calling it there for the live stream, I think. Thanks very much for dropping by. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I hope you've found it interesting. You've learned stuff. All the usual things. Like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Comment it and share it. And Even if you don't like it, dislike it. I don't know. It's all interaction. It all goes towards a holy algorithm. It enables more people to find my channel and more people to learn and chat in channels and stuff, which is what we like. So yeah, do that kind of stuff. And yeah, peace and love, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Oh look, see if I've got a rocket launcher. That needs painting. Yeah, whoops. Bisected accidentally. Eric the half a knight. Yeah, okay, I'm really going now. See you in the next one. Catch you guys later. Bye bye now.